Okay, we got to keep talking to know if this if the sound is running. I'm watching my coffee.
We
I
got to
can't
keep
tell.
talking to
Yeah,
know if
okay,
this.
it's going. So now I got to change my glasses, and there we go. We're ready. Had some challenges, of course. Uh, Five, four, three, two, one. I'm John Miglosh for the WDMA, and let's check the news. First of all, I'd like to thank Laura Brady from ARC South Africa, and she got me in touch with the author of yesterday's show about how mail still works. And if you remember, I wondered why they were talking about their postal service, and she wrote back to me and said one of the reasons for the low postal volumes in South Africa is because of the inefficiency of our postal service, which is basically bankrupt and notoriously unreliable. Okay. That said, the results of direct mail campaigns are still significant in terms of return. And so that's really good. And Catherine McKay was the author of that article, and so we gave her a shout out. And Mike Gunderson also chimed in, and I watched the Brand United show yesterday, and I especially liked Brent's case study. It was for Batesville Caskets, and I remember seeing a presentation by Batesville at a NMOA a couple of years ago, and they were really high on their direct mail effort. But this was a three-dimensional mailer and it was excellent. And so if you can get the recording of the Brand United, I highly recommend taking some time to watch that. And and Mike Gunderson was on there too. He talked about informed delivery, which, as you know, I'm not the biggest fan of. I went back and looked in my 3 weeks of informed deliveries, which I don't generally look at, and there were some really big mailers that did not use the clickable links and the four color version of the mailing piece. I did see one in 3 weeks, and I saw another one that was in black and white, and both had the clickable link below. But the first time through, I didn't see him. But then the second time through, I did see some. So there you go. Okay. So let's get over to the news and see what's what, right? Here we go. Okay, why the Oscars needed drama this year. And what I'm trying to figure out is how staged was the drama? And so if you look at here's a picture of the two, and Chris Rock is telling his joke and Will Smith is laughing quite a bit. And then he gets a look from his wife, and even when he's yelling about it after he delivers his slap, I would have loved to see his face as he's walking up there. I but and they obviously have audience facing cameras. So, but I'm just trying to figure out if it was staged, if it was part of the joke, and I guess there's a lot of debate about that. But the truth is that we did need a shot in the arm for the Oscars, or it needed a slap in the face, as the author says, because it's basically since 1980. I mean, you could argue that this was a downward trend anyway, and this is a super downward trend. Bango. And why? Okay, this is a very thoughtful article by Jacob Cohen, and he says, well, one of the reasons is it needed a slap in the face. See, we'll give him credit for that. I stole his line, slap in the face. Why are they so boring? Well, one reason is that they're focused on dramas, and dramas are just 5% of ticket sales. So that's not where people are looking. And Apple had one Best Picture, I guess, for Coda, a first in the streaming space, and nobody went to see it anyway. But they did go to see Ryan Reynolds, and in Red Notice, I went to see that. I thought Ryan did okay, but anyway, we'll just leave it at that. There were too many action scenes and not enough dialogue for me, because Ryan Reynolds is really good in the dialogue. Okay, so bottom line, you can just check Twitter, and we were just over on Twitter. I saw dozens and dozens and dozens of things making fun of the whole deal. Um, I also, according to the hustle here, found out that there was about $140,000 in gift bags that went to key stars. Here's an article about the gift bags that you can reference if you go over to the WDMA.org and subscribe for free. What happened was that there were vouchers for $12,000 worth of liposuction. Um, there was designer popcorn. There was uh, we get calls from about 25 to 30% of the nominees each year who want to make sure we know where to get their gift bag to them. So everybody likes the gift bag. I didn't know there was a gift bag. And so the only 28 people of the nominees receive the Everybody Wins bag. The 5 nominees for Best Actress, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Director, and the 3 hosts get the bag. Here's some of the junk that's in the bag. And the most expensive item was a $50,000 3-night stay at Turin Castle. But there was also, I like this one, the title of Lord or Lady of Glencoe, along with a small plot of land in Scotland. You know, I think somebody like Ryan Reynolds needs a title of Lord. So too bad he did. Maybe he did. I don't know if he got a gift bag or not. Lord Ryan Reynolds. Doesn't that sound good? Yeah, he could, or maybe he would have taken Lady. You never know these days. Anyway, the kind of treatments. And a small batch of gift tea sent from Oprah-approved chai box. Anyway, so one author, Todd Wasserman, who I follow quite a bit, asked, "Is the Oscar still for women?" And he cited this excellent quote by Brian Agate, who said, according to Nielsen, women made up 46% of the Super Bowl audience. So the Super Bowl is actually the Super Bowl for women. I've always thought that, because I don't really get into the halftime show, and so it must be mostly for women. Maybe the whole NFL is for women. What other sport has so much do-overs? Which I don't know that has anything to do with women. I better qualify that or get in trouble. But it's just, how is that a sport? My daughter, who's a woman, likes to watch MMA because the refs have very little to do with the spectacle. And I really agree with her on that. We watch together sometimes. Okay, so now over to Craig Huey, who says you can supercharge your results. And the thing I always like about Craig is he gives us a case study. And so we're going to follow through the case study. So if you aren't familiar with it, and you may not be, because I saw someone in the agency world who was doing a little bit on direct mail, and they were stunned that somehow they visited a website and shortly thereafter received a piece of mail about it. I can't remember really ever getting one. Where I went to a website and then got the piece of mail. I know it exists, and I know it can work really well. It's not something that most people get. It's so targeted that it's under the radar. So this is a very apropos title. Okay, so what this all is direct mail retargeting allows you to identify the physical address of visitors to your landing page. One thing we should also note is that this is, as far as I know, is okay with GDPR and CCPA. As far as I know, there's no rule against mailing somebody to a public mailing address. If you emailed them, that would be a violation, I think, certainly of GDPR. So you can, without an explicit opt-in, right? In case we talk about those laws every now and then. So I guess if you have questions on that, feel free to give me a call. Do not take this as legal advice. so that you can send them a direct mail piece within 24 hours, depending on where, now with the postal, I saw that the USPS is getting into quick delivery, same day delivery or next day delivery with the last mile, but their first class mail, you might want to make sure it gets printed in the vicinity of the recipient because they've now said it'll take something like acceptable delivery is like 5 to 7 days across the country. Okay, so anyway, ironic, isn't it? Maybe it's like when Apple comes out with a new phone and all of a sudden your old phone stops working as well as you remembered it. Suddenly the memory isn't enough, and that's rumored. I don't know that that's the case. I've never owned an Apple phone or even an Apple product to my recollection. Okay, for example, we did a direct mail piece with a newsletter client, Strategic Investor. This is great because we know the client. Okay, first the prospect saw one or more digital ads on Google, and this can work. I've given you the Lovesac case, but in many cases they had multiple stores within a metro, and so the best deal is TV, probably for reaching a wide audience in a local geography, and so they use TV ads that directed people to their website, and it's a kind of a short, catchy name, so that's probably good. Strategic Investor is kind of generic; you might not remember where you went. Anyway, there was a digital ad on Google, and it took people to a specific landing page, hopefully with like a QR or something, a link. And when they went to the landing page, our digital technology allowed us to grab the physical address. And there's a number of ways to do that. And some people bounce them against like a Netflix offer. You know how sometimes you see that, free 2 weeks of Netflix, and then when you try and get it, they basically require you to say, and I'm open to other offers. And you think that's only for 2 weeks, but it actually is much longer than that. They get you for a while, but they only give you for 2 weeks. Okay, here's the banner ad we created with the intriguing headline. So this is actually an example of the banner ad. 5 billion deal rocks biotech, setting stage for epic battle. And basically what they're talking about is a small company. Some company got 5 billion for some cancer research. Another company didn't get that money, and we're not going to tell you who it is because you got to click for it. And a lot of times you can find out who it is, and sometimes they're not even public. They're someday to be available to the average investor. But so I've obviously clicked on some of this clickbait. Anyway, so you click on the ad, and it takes you to prospects clicked on the get the story here. See that in red? Nice. I might have made it in blue because we generally associate hot links with blue, although the Hustle has them in red. So, it's not that they're never in red, but mostly they're in blue. So I might have made that. Something to test, Craig, if you're listening. Okay, they take them to a strategic landing page, and when they get there, and it's not that everybody who goes to the landing page gets a mailer. You want somebody that stays more than 30 seconds. You want to offer them a click to more information or play the video or something like that. So the secondary click. So somebody with some level of interest, and you can measure that, and you can restrict the retargeting with mail to people who meet that threshold for appropriate level of interest. And again, that's also testable. Okay, 5 shocking reasons the war on cancer may finally be over. This is an excerpt from that. And I like this a lot, then they sent him a magalog, a 16-page little basically a 16-page full of copy, telling the story probably about the company and telling about how their newsletter has successfully and consistently found investment opportunities that the average investor would miss. That's what they always say. And so then there's an offer for the strategic investor and for a 1-year subscription. And Craig doesn't give the details, but he says massive response rate to the retargeting mailing piece. So we'll get this conclusion. Direct mail retargeting can be a game changer for sales or lead generation. If you'd like to talk about how you can use direct mail retargeting to supercharge your next mailing campaign, give me a call. Okay, and in this case, call Caleb. Okay, so there it is right there. Anyway, a straight up guy, Craig Huey, and give him a call or give me a call. I would say we were kind of pioneering direct marketing retargeting back in 2015 and 16 and had massive results for a retailer who then went public. So maybe the investment newsletter caught on. Have a great day. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart. Bye-bye.